Meant to do the intro. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Let me just check that we're live fully. We should be across Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, nice. TikTok as well. We're going to be live on TikTok right now. So any questions that come through, we'll be here with you guys. Anyone in the comments, if you're joining in, if you could just let us know about the audio. And let us know if that sound is too much there. That'd be good. But I've got a great guest today on the show. His name is Ray Harris. Ray is a man who I have known for quite some time. We've worked together in different capacities. So really, really excited to have you on. But Ray, you know what? I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Before I do that, let me just make sure there's no underwear on the floor behind me. No, it's not.
Brilliant.
Welcome to the show, Ray. This is Antonio Talk Show.
Thank you, Antonio. Thanks for having me on, mate. It's always a pleasure to spin the breeze with you and have a little bit of a conversation about what's going on. So it's all good. And yeah, me and you have worked together, as you said, and in different capacities. And we've always had a good relationship and always been. I suppose we've always had an opinion, whether that
had an opinion.
Yeah, you know,
we've always been the best of buds. Just 1 second, I'm just putting this on because this the TikTok stream on here is not working.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pop it there, and then it will catch up here. All right, good. So Ray, thanks for coming on. And as you said, we've always had an opinion. We've always looked at like the industries and always wanted to sort of how do we do things differently, but also how do we anticipate what's to come, because that is really, really important. It's like a lot of people doing their business planning for 2023 right now. Yeah. We were speaking about this yesterday around our business planning, and a lot of organizations are looking at, well, how profitable we've been over the past year, how's the performance been over the past year, and what do we expect to grow in 2023? And I think that's really cool. But what trends are going to be happening so that we can help people understand and place more strategic imperatives on those trends? So I've done a bit of research for the show, as I always do, Ray. But tell everyone about what you do at the moment and what you're up to.
Okay, so I run my own consultancy firm here, RLH Consultancy, and we are a recruitment firm that basically recruits for tax, audit and advisory and accounting and finance throughout the UK and in other continents as well, such as Australia, and we're doing a bit in Dubai at the moment, and trying to break into America. So on the pulse when it comes to recruitment.
Amazing. And how was your morning? Because just before you got on the call, you were telling me something.
Brilliant. I've had a brilliant morning, actually, to be honest with you. Well, I'd say that, firstly, I had to start off great morning, do you know what I mean? Out of bed early, made my bed, it was awesome. And now I've just found out not...
I'm glad you made your bed, by the way.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Well, it's a very, very important thing to do in the morning, Antonio, because if you have a bad day, at least you're going back to a made bed.
Well, you know Jordan Peterson, I don't know if you know Jordan Peterson too well, he says, like, if you can't do anything, just make your bed. Just make your bed in the morning. And I think does that come from a military thing as well? Is that a military thing?
Yeah, always make your bunk when you get out of it, make your bunk. So no matter how bad a day you've got, getting into a fresh made bunk.
Amazing. So anyway, tell us about your morning. What happened?
And then, so that happened. So I was having a great morning, and literally about 15 minutes ago, a candidate decided not to turn up for a second interview. When it was an informal interview. He just basically come back and said, "Don't really want to do the 1 day a week in London that I need to do, that they want me to do. So therefore, I'm not taking the job."
No way. And so second interview.
He was literally going there to shake their hands.
And were they confident on him?
Yeah, they were like, I was already told by the hiring manager. Listen, I was already told by the hiring manager that he was like, "This guy's oven ready. I want him. Like, just come down. We'll have a conversation." Yeah, I was literally gonna sort of throw 15 grand in the pot today. And
oh my god!
He didn't even email me. He emailed the hiring manager first.
Oh, brilliant! That's what you want, isn't it?
And I didn't even know about it. And then I literally had the hiring manager on the phone. I was like, "Hi." I was like, "Yeah, all right, everything okay?" He's like, not really. He said, "If you've not seen this email," I was like, "What? What email? What email?"
That's always
like,
what you want,
yeah,
Ray.
Yeah. So, mate, it was. I've had one of those days today, and I don't think that's a reflection on the market at all. But it's not great, mate.
So, tell me your thoughts on the market of recruitment at the moment. I am listening. I'm just trying to. I don't have producers on this show yet, Ray. I will have one day.
Mate,
mark my words.
You're not
Mark my words today. I will have producers. So I'm like the lighting, the camera, the research, the technology. So so I am listening. I can do multiple things.
Of course you can. Okay. So look, in relation to at the moment and where we are as a market, look, we know that we're going into a recession. Okay, and we know that it's going to be, and from what everybody is forecasting, it's going to be a long recession. Now, that when it's a long recession, it doesn't mean it's a deep recession. So I think there could be a lot of panic in the market here that we don't need to have, right? So, and look, we know where this recession's come from: war in Ukraine, oil, gas going up, fuel bills, household bills going up in general, cost of grains going up, food's going up. So, and when that happens, it means that people haven't got enough or don't have as much money to go and spend on luxuries, the retail aspect, the hospitality, the leisure and tourism, that kind of things. That's what's going to dip, and that's the only thing that's going to dip. That's why we're going to go into a very shallow recession. But I don't want people to panic about this, because recruitment will still happen. If the roles are already there, they will still be there. The only unemployment may go up in, like I said, the hotel sector, the retail sectors, hospitality, but it's never going to hit the lows of, say, COVID, for example.
Yeah.
Or 2008, for anybody that can remember that. I mean, that, both of those completely fell off a cliff, where this is not going to. So recruitment, and there will still be a need there. If you are in accounting, IT, a consultancy-based business, accounting, finance, engineering, that will still continue. So I wanted to give some confidence in the market here.
What's your point then? So what's your point of view on the tech layoffs that have happened recently? Like, there was a big spurt in them about a month ago, right? Maybe 6 weeks ago, and now they've become companies are still, I think, silently planning, but I just think maybe they want to do it in a more of a humane way. No one wants to be fired just before Christmas, and no company wants to be seen as firing people just before Christmas. So
absolutely not. No.
Do you anticipate like a 2023 January slaughterhouse, for want of better words?
I genuinely don't think so, because I think that there's a lot of compassion in the market for what's actually happening, more than there has been in previous recessions. But I think, no, I don't. I consider that, look, if the work's not already there, there will be layoffs. If the work is there, if they have the pipeline, I think that they will still keep those people in to fulfill the projects that they've got, if that makes sense. Because I still think that they're going to move in. And like I said, it's 2 points. It's going to be 0.2, 0.6, maybe even 1% over the whole year. Now, to put that into context, the 2008 recession went to 6%, literally over 3 quarters. It literally fell off a cliff. And that then does start to really impact businesses, because the revenue's not there. So could be a little. So I'm actually looking at this as a glass half full, Antonio, than a glass half empty, because I think that, yes, there could be some layoff. I do think that unemployment might rise from what is it at the minute, 4.7 to 5.5. So they do think it's going to rise. What does that mean in real terms? Not a massive amount, to be honest.
Well, I think it's all hearsay until it all comes out, right? But I definitely think we're at the start of it. I mean, you're quite the optimist here, and I think we're at doom and gloom. I'm like, look, hunker down, guys. get your bat in the station, get your tin food, get ready. I'm very much a doom and gloomist on this, but I tried to remain positive. By the way, just hello everyone on TikTok, how are you? If you guys could just smash the likes, anyone on LinkedIn, Facebook, smash the likes as well. That would be great. So we're here to talk about not the doom and gloom, but I do think we are, entering a very challenging time, and I think it's going to be worse than the start of COVID. There's a couple of reasons for it. One is because companies, they got false, I suppose they got like false pretenses in when we started coming out of COVID, and the market was inflated with regards to the way the banks were bailing out and giving money to governments and whatnot. So there was a lot of money in circulation, printed money. I forgot what the terminology of what it is, but printed money. But that money that was in circulation. So just step back a second. So since 2008, after the crash, what banks started to do was print money to basically prop up the system so it wouldn't crash. Okay, but that money was being printed based on what was already there. So everything was being diluted in many ways. So that continued to happen, and so the amount of money that was printed in the US and UK, right, between 2008 and 2019, that money was doubled between 2020 and 22. Yeah. So as we started coming out of this at the start of the year, what people started realizing was that actually inflation's going high, and banks put a stop on printing money. So they put a stop on this mechanism that they were using to keep the market up, and obviously that spiraled inflation. And then similarly, between that year of all that money being printed, there was a false economy, so to speak, where that's why, and a lot of tech companies were doubled their headcount. So Facebook doubled their headcount between 21 and 22. So they've obviously reduced by 11,000. I don't know the Amazon headcount, but I know Google even doubled their headcount.
Twitter's done exactly the same thing, hasn't it?
Exactly.
So
Twitter, was crazy. So they doubled the headcount, and you go, what are all these tech people doing? Do you know what I mean?
Well, surely there's like 100,000 servers somewhere, right? Where they're keeping it. Do you know what I mean? The software.
But it's not a lean environment, is it?
No, it's not. No.
And I don't want to degrade or denigrate anyone's skills or expertise here, and I'm sure you're employed because you were fantastic and you're fantastic for that role. But 20 people doing the same role when there's probably not that much work to do, surely that's couldn't have been a fulfilling role either. Do you know what I mean?
But there's obviously developers in there, aren't there? So if you look at Facebook, for example, look at Twitter, look at Facebook's probably the most. In that they are constantly developing not only the software but actually other parts of Facebook. So, for example, when Facebook first started, it was just Facebook, wasn't it? It was a means of keeping college grads together and find out what they're doing after college. That was basically the founding. Now there's Facebook Marketplace. There's now Facebook Dating.
I understand, but again, I don't think it takes that amount of staff to be maintaining that. I think they definitely went overboard on hiring. And I think many companies did. I'm of the lean approach. I'm like, let's go lean, and the way I work. But
yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to go through a bit of carnage, but there's also exciting times, and I think there's always need for really great quality recruiters. Always. I would say that yes, internal recruiters will be laid off and are being laid off. A lot of HR functions, particularly in Amazon and whatnot, are supposedly being laid off. I would say that they will lay them off, but there's always going to be need for projects. There's always going to be need for people to spearhead growth. Companies aren't just going to go, you know what, let's pull back and let's sustain, because sustaining is ultimately going backwards, right? So what's going to happen is there's going to be need for great recruiters out there, agency recruiters, and a lot of them. So I'm excited to find out a little bit more about your points of view of what makes a great recruiter in 2023, because 2023 is, going to be challenging, but there's also opportunities for those who are good. And there's the other thing is when you go in a recession, the best time to even, like, if you're thinking about starting a business right now in recruitment, anyone out there or whatever, you're thinking about going at it yourself or opening up a new line of service within your own agency that's successful at the moment, the best time is really to start now. Because the demand, because companies, they're going to want to grow. They don't have the headcount in terms of in their HR teams. They don't have the recruiters internally. They don't have the expertise, the subject matter expertise on the market. So they're going to go to these great agencies who do. Yeah. So very exciting time. So I've done some preparation for you. So I think there's 8 things that we're going to see as trends in 2023. And I'm going to ask you what your thoughts are on all of them. And how companies or agencies or recruiters can adopt this into their businesses, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then we're going to go into a fun game after that. So not all statistics and this is what we should be doing and boring recruitment stuff.
Okay, that's fine. Right? Define fun for me though, because I know you're fun. Define fun.
Is it fun
activities? Okay, yeah.
So yeah, then we're gonna go to that. So there's like 8 trends here, and let's get into it. So one of the trends that we're gonna notice, and these are really important for recruiters, like in 2023, is one of the first trend is remote work. The second, should I go through them all? Tell you on first, and then we can go from individual. Give you a little.
Let's go hit one bang, and then let's do it that way.
All right, so we've still got 45 minutes, so let's not try and bake the cake before it's, we've put the ingredients in.
Okay, go on then.
45 minutes here. We've got 45 good minutes.
Chef, you carry on then. You bake those, you get them ingredients in.
All right then. So let's talk about remote work then. And I'm noticing a lot of this. So, obviously, as a person who runs a couple of recruitment technology businesses, also doing my own recruitment agency as well, and actually on the coalface, speaking with candidates, I'm noticing a lot of requirements, not from the client side as much, but candidates are, if they have to commute more than 45 minutes, they're not having it now. I mean, your person who didn't turn up to that interview this morning, that was going to be an offer.
It was a bang on offer. It was a cast iron offer. 15 grand is what it would have cost us, and yet he has turned it down. And he's turned it down because he has to go to London once a week. So
that's madness as well.
Yeah, it is.
What a gift to go to London once a week, Ray. What a gift.
Oh, mate, tell me about it.
You know what I mean?
I honestly,
I was going to do a TikTok the other day on my Christmas party, and it's just going to be me
with a hat on.
My company Christmas party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason that is because we've got teams remote and around the world, and no one wants to travel anymore.
No,
what a gift to go to London once a day.
Well, you see, I'm the same thing. I wouldn't mind going to London because I enjoy the travel. You know what I mean? But I do, and again, it's once a week. I think, and is not a major issue. And I do think that some people, some clients next year might pull back on that. Some companies might pull back on that and say, actually, we're going to start introducing anchor days, let's say, for example. And I've heard that.
Oh yeah, what's that terminology there?
So terminology is that you actually have 2 days back in the office, and they're called anchor days. So you come in, you see the team, you interact with the team, different environment. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of keeping you close to your business. And so. And they are now arranging anchor days where it's not a fully remote role anymore. You are required to go back into the office, and I can see that being phased back in 2023 as well. Especially when you're right. Recruitment might slow down slightly, so there will be requirements for the people that are actually in the business to maybe be a little bit more productive to carry that on. I know that's not what a business will say, but that's probably that. I think that would be a quite a bit of a trend next year as well.
Do you
So
think?
I think that
Do you think that
remote
that's
work
going
might be pulled
to?
back.
One thing you just inspired there. So let's say there are you don't have to be in the office. There, but it's like a hybrid. You can come in if you want to. The space is there, but you can work from home. Do you think that the people that are going to be showing up to the office, do you think there's going to be a more favour to them with regards to like promotions? Do you think there could be a bias around that?
So I've actually got a working example of this. So one of my candidates at the moment, naming no names, and not naming a sector either, has been told that to get his next promotion, he needs to be more visible in the office, and they blatantly said that to him.
But I don't think that's a bad thing. Do you?
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think if you're asking somebody, and again, this depends on the travel. If you're asking somebody to travel 45 minutes or an hour each way a day, and then they're losing 2 hours, do you know what I mean? 2 hours of their day commuting to get their promotion, maybe you have to look at that. If you're commuting half an hour, maybe not so bad. And I think you've got to look at the distance of travel as well as
So there was this interesting thing the other day going around on LinkedIn, and it was Snap was requiring everyone to go back into New York, Chicago, across, all into Snapchat, guys. If anyone who doesn't know Snapchat, they're expecting all their workers to go back to the office, and people were in uproar going, hey, this is discrimination. And it's not contributing to diversity and inclusion, or diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, I understand the sentiment behind it, but is it discrimination, or is it just the business wanting to make a decision that's the right thing for their strategy?
Look, again, if you don't feel that it's inclusive, find another job to go to.
Yeah. Boom. Hold on, I've got a reaction here.
Thank you. Why sit? Thank you. Why sit?
How great is this system, by the way?
This is a brilliant system. I love this system. But why sit in a business that you don't feel then matches or mirrors your values? So if you're in uproar because your business, your company is asking you to go back to the office, find something that doesn't ask you to go back to the office.
And this is the thing. Everyone has choice, and we're so blessed to be in a society where it's fair, it's equal. Now, granted, there's a lot more that we can do when it comes to diversity and inclusion, and I'm a big champion of it. The thing is, though, like, there comes a point in this whole diversity and inclusion journey where you have to go, I need to take some self-responsibility for my life. If a company chooses to move their business, that's out of their decision. It's a pain in your ass. It's 100%. And it's like maybe something you didn't expect in your 3-year plan, 5-year plan. But at the same time, I think that people, the best thing they can do is not put so much control into their employer, build themselves up so that they're almost, anything proof. If an employer goes bust, they'll get a job straight away.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If an employer chooses to move, they can go somewhere else because they're known and their skills are amazing in the market. And I think
and you're right.
And I think we're bordering on this sense of entitlement because companies have been, shouting out about their bean bags, their free food, their flexible work style, they're this, they're that, they're this great to get these candidates in. But what they've actually done is they've gotten those candidates in who are entitled. They've gotten candidates who are motivated by bean bags. They've gotten candidates who are motivated by free food, not doing the work. They've gotten exactly what they wanted, but now it's actually biting companies in the arse because productivity is going less. And there's loads of data that proves this. So I think there needs to be some sort of ownership of people to go, you know what, it's anything can be discriminatory. Do you know what I mean? Anything can be discriminatory in many ways. It's the way we see it as people. And I think, if we see something as discrimination, and I'm talking from, like a company moving, this is what I'm saying, like that, because that's how is a company moving or telling people to come there to the offices discrimination. It's not, it's a business decision. I'm talking about these types of things. If we feel that's discrimination, then we make a decision. We go, okay, I need to move from this company because it doesn't align with my values. And you're so right there. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree. I akin it to this, right? I always think that in whatever career you choose, you need to be your own brand. You need to act and be your own brand, and a brand within a brand, if that makes sense. Because you're right, Antonio. If you're your own brand and people know what you do, who you are, you're right. If your brand doesn't align with that brand's culture, you can move. But it's easier to move because people know who you are. You've built this work, this career for yourself, and you're bettering yourself. Absolutely. I totally agree.
Thanks. Just one second. Thanks for all the likes on TikTok, guys. Really appreciate you all. Thank you for the comments, encouragement. If you're on LinkedIn at the moment, just smash the like button, give some applause, give some hate, whatever you want. If you don't agree with us, send some comments in, say you don't agree. We want to hear this stuff. We want to understand what the sentiments in the world are. We're currently talking about 2023 in recruitment and how recruiters can stand out. But we're going into topics that are going to be on trend within the 2023 sphere for recruiters. So, so give us some comments, give us some likes, give us some hearts, give us whatever you want, give us some hate, it's fine. And then we'll have some questions. So let's get back into it. Okay, so we touched. Okay. So what are you saying? Sorry, go on.
So that's okay. So what I was saying, Antonio, is that a business is always going to be a relationship to you, right? So as an employer of that business, employee of that business, you're always going to be in a relationship with that business, right? Just like being in a relationship with a partner. Yeah. When you get together, everything's fantastic. It's all wonderful, hard. Do you know what I mean? All wonderful.
Well, that the honeymoon period.
Exactly, like that honeymoon period. But as time goes by, people's, perspectives, business needs change. Your life needs, you need like change in your life as well. And you'll find, like most relationships, that some of those just then don't work. And that's not a diversity and inclusion thing. That's sometimes businesses take decisions that you don't agree with, and sometimes as an employee, an employer, sometimes you've made decisions that business doesn't agree with either.
Yeah,
it's a relationship.
That's it, and that's really, really great point. And I think we need to come to a point of we need to obviously look after staff, but at the same time, as an employee, you need to understand that these aren't the company isn't your parent. They don't need to parent you. They don't, it's a company, it's a business transaction. You're signing a contract with an organization. You're giving your services for return of money. And if you don't like it, there's better ways to earn money with your skills. And I'll just drop in expert.com right now, which is my platform, expert with 2 R's. If you want to earn extra money from your full-time job, or if you want to earn off your skills, with projects around the world, go to expert.com. Anyway, so I just had to drop that in. I agree with you. So we're seeing a massive trend in remote work. And I think we digressed a little bit there around the discrimination piece. We digressed, but there is... So according to a projection made by Ladder, 25% of all professional jobs in North America will be remote by the end of this year. So companies are looking at the remote piece and they're moving, but are they being forced to be remote because talent wants to be remote? Is it because they don't really want people in the office and don't see the need for it? What are your thoughts there?
I think it's a double-edged sword, this, Antonio. I think it's either two ways. Now, so for example, if you're a consulting firm or where that work can be done remotely, why aren't you could by all means give your employee the chance to either come in or out. And there's benefits to that from a business's point of view as well. Smaller offices, because that you're not going to need capacity for 300 people for 300 employees, because the likelihood is there's only 100 maybe there. So smaller office spaces is a way of cutting overheads, isn't it? Straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Giving employees opportunity, freedom to work remotely as well. That's now a thing. We know that that's a thing. I don't think that we're ever going to go back to being 100% everybody back in the office. I don't think we're going to see those grand trains, do you know what I mean, in London, like you do at between 7 and 9 in the morning anymore.
To be fair though, London is busy. London is busy, and there are a lot of people are back in the office. But it feels super busy. I mean, I don't know. I think the pendulum is swinging back. It was a candidate-driven market, so we had to give the candidates what they wanted, so to speak. And now, I think demand in terms of jobs, there's going to be more talent on the market than jobs. So in the future, I don't think right now we've still got a massive upsurge in requirements that can't be filled and that sort of thing. But I think the pendulum's going to swing backwards, and then if the company goes, hey, we believe that people should be back in the office, then I think that's going to be something that's going to have to happen. I do think it will go full circle. I think that we will see the requirement is you expected it. It'll go back to 2019. The requirements you're expected to be in the office, but you're more likely will be working from home 2 days a week. But you're expected to be in the office.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's actually how it was. It's this big thing now. But I mean, it's funny how the jobs are remote as well. There's a lot of jobs going remote, so we'll see how that goes. But I think how can recruiters combat this then when it comes to trying to engage candidates for jobs that aren't remote and the candidates that want to be remote? Like, is it you just move on and find another candidate, or how can you navigate this?
Yeah, so it's a very fine line to play here, and especially when we're talking about sort of inclusion and within hiring as well. I think the first thing to do is, and again, it should be a recruiter's number one rule is honesty. If you know and not try and shoehorn a candidate into a job by not disclosing them to fully, is this a remote role? No, they're going to require you in the office for 3 days, because I think a lot of recruiters out there are very, what's the words I want to use here? I think sometimes can try and use the process to embed that candidate into that job. So it's like, just go for an interview, go and see what they're like, great working culture, and sort of do that. And then when it comes to it, it's like, oh, you didn't tell me it was 3 days in an office, and they go,
yeah. And it's almost like it's not worth going through that conversation because it just wastes everyone's time. And the challenge is, let's say you've made the placement, they've gone into the business, but then they leave within a month, makes you look bad, you lose your fee. It's like, it's not good for anyone. So I think you're right there. Let's move on to the next one because that was a great topic. We had 23 minutes on that one.
Beautiful.
So this next piece is talking about proactive candidate management, proactive candidate engagement. It's obviously been quite a big piece in like C-level roles, right?
Yes.
But apparently it's going to change. So 84% of recruiters said that engaging passive candidates is becoming important in lower level roles. What do you think about that whole engagement of passive candidates, and how does it work with you? Because I know actually that's heavily that's your space. That's what you do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is my space. Yeah, it is my space, and I think with the recession coming up, I think there's going to be. I think recruiters are going to have to work harder on that in that passive space in certain sectors, harder than they probably ever have. And again, reason being is people are going to look at this recession and go, and candidates are going to look at this recession and go, I'm not moving. I'm not going to move yet. Even though I don't enjoy my role, I'm not going to move because I don't want to be in a position or put myself in a position where I'm last in and then first out if they start making redundancies. So they're going to hold fast on that. So there are going to be more passive candidates out in the market than there probably has been for 12 years. You know, before 2008, and I genuinely.
Well, I saw a study, and this was ages ago. This was years and years ago. So this has probably changed now, but it was like 2 out of every 4 candidates, so half of every person, professional, is always looking for new opportunities. So that's probably increased now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're smart, you should be looking at the opportunity. You should always have an eye out for an opportunity, because there's something could have come along without you even, do you know what I mean, realizing it. That
what are your thoughts then on people who and this works? Like, if anyone wants to hack, if you want to hack your career right now, I've seen it work. I'm not a advocate for it, but if you want to say, for instance, within 2 years, let's say 2 times a salary, you can 2 times the salary within 3 years, right? By job hopping. And so what you do is you get into a company, so you're entering, say if you're a grad or something, you're social media manager, marketing manager, 21 grand a year. You go into a company, stay there for a year, you move into another company at 28. That's where easy, that's gone up. That's easy. You move into another company at 28, and then you go stay there for a year, and actually you get to about 35 after that, after a year being there. And then you stay there for a year, and then you're at about 45.
Yeah, easy.
Within 3 years, that's like a doubling your salary. I mean, that's a good strategy. I mean, is that like because that's actually how the market goes. Like, I think actually most people don't stay in jobs now for long, and if you do, you're actually probably hindering your earning potential.
Unless you've roadmapped your promotions there. And
great comment here by Alex. Hold on. So Alex has said, "Hey Alex, thanks for your comment, buddy. Then why not freelance instead of a job hopper?" To be honest, I think you're right. I'm a big advocate of freelancing and being self-employed. Being project-based, earning money off your skills, because you can earn a lot more. Mm-hmm. The challenge you have there, Alex, and this is what I found with lots of people, and as you said, you can earn double salary immediately. The challenge is, though, it is a competitive market when it comes to freelance. And so if you're a new freelancer in the market and you haven't built your chops up with clients, for instance, and you're not a good business developer either, because you've got to do the sales when you're a freelancer. You've got to get out there in the market. You've got to use these platforms. You've got to build your chops up, your portfolios and all that sort of stuff. If you haven't built your reviews, all this sort of stuff, then you're not getting the jobs you want straight away. So I think they are doing this on the side. They are doing the freelancing, but mainly in the, especially for the initial start of your career, if you want to just jump and you want the certainty as well. So other people got requirements like, I want to move to London, I want to get a house, I've just had a child, so I can't do freelancing. There's a lot of variables there, but I agree with you. Why not just do freelancing? Just jump into the deep end. Be tough for 6 months, but after that you'll be smashing it. But yeah, I mean, that's my opinion, Alex. What's your thoughts? I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I think it takes a certain kind of animal to be a freelancer or an entrepreneur. Do you know what I mean? Running a business. I think it takes a certain animal, and some people are just not built that way. And I think if you're not built that way, it can be tough. Exactly what you said. If you're not into your business developing, if you're not into networking, if you just like doing the figures but don't know how to get to those figures. So say, for example, if you're a freelance accountant, you love doing the tax, you love doing the VAT, but if you've got no clients or you've got no way of building that client base up, you're better off working for somebody else.
Yeah, and as Alex said right here, Alex just said something great. He said, so you can get the skills required for freelance, but working on a permanent job, so you're getting paid to get those skills, right? So I think it's an interesting space. But there's some also data to show, and I need to pick up. It was a Harvard study, and it was on the future of work. It was based on, they believe that the future of work is project-based and skill-based. So instead of people having job titles like, I'm a senior consultant, you'll have project titles. Do you know what I mean? So I'm the business analyst, I'm the the Java developer or the lead developer for this. So it'll be skills based.
Interesting.
I'll just show these on the stream actually. There you go. Alex is giving some good. Then when you have the skills, you job hop into freelance. Absolutely, Alex. You're so right there. You're so
Yeah,
right. Great stuff, Alex.
absolutely.
Thanks for your comments. Appreciate you commenting away and engaging as well. Cheers, buddy. Okay, so go on. So let's go on to the next one.
Yeah, next one.
So that's the proactive candidate management. What do we think about automation? So this is another trend that we're going to see in 2023. So if we look at, there was a survey done on 2,848 recruiting professionals, and most agreed that investing in better recruitment tools and technology is the best way to improve. Now, there are a lot of automation solutions out there, which obviously the things like passing resumes, hiring and client pipelines, automating the emails at those points. Now, and also I own one as well. So if anyone's interested in a recruitment CRM, hirewithleo.com, drop me a comment or DM me after this. We can take you on a demo. I'm not doing this, by the way, guys, to promote, but I'm not going to be promoting other technologies either. But whatever you use, I think automation in recruitment, it has a really significant place. But how do you feel about it, Ray? Because I've got a lot of statements. I think technology is there to make a recruiter's life easier. Right, but it's not there to replace a recruiter, replace the real core crux of what recruiters should do, because and that's why we're a $500 billion industry, because and has been for years. Because you can't really replace a recruiter at the moment. You can't.
No, there's parts of a recruiter that you're never going to change. The speed in which you pick a phone up, do you know what I mean, and respond to an issue that you have with a candidate or a client, because there's probably more of them that we'd like to think. Actually, I'm old school. I think there is a time and a place for automation within recruitment. It's never going to take over.
Yeah, no, but is it old school? When I hear the term "I'm old school," and bear in mind, I've done many demos of 2 recruitment agency owners, hundreds and hundreds, and maybe thousands. When I hear old school, I mean I'm stuck. It's AKA stuck in my ways.
Right. Okay. No, I get that. No, I don't think I'm stuck in my ways. I just feel that I just like that personal touch when I put it into messages. So even if I do, 50 messages a day where I could be automating 200, for me, it's actually finding things that we have in common within profiles, re-understanding that profile, writing a personalized message. Now, I know that there is automation that can send messages out. Can it make it as personal as what I send it out as? Maybe not. And I think that's what some recruiters do well, some maybe not so well. Because I think it's all about personality, being personable with your clients and your candidates. And I think if you start taking that out and put it robotic, you could be anybody.
Yeah, agreed. And I think the other piece is like when you're speaking to a candidate, like you can navigate into their, like I can from a profile, I can say what I'm looking for is great. I can say, so let's say I've had an application. I've gone to speak to someone on LinkedIn. I've headhunted someone on paper.
Yeah,
they look awesome.
That's
awesome. Yeah. They've got all the keywords. They've got all the acronyms. They've got all the company role titles that we're looking for.
They've written a damn good profile on LinkedIn.
They're great at marketing. They should be marketing managers. They should be copywriters. But then you go and speak to them, and you find that actually they haven't been doing that role. They want to do that role. That's what they put in, but they've just embellished their job title. Which is a great trick. And again, if you're trying to hack your job search, you do it. But good recruiters will see right through it, because they'll be asking questions. Bad recruiters who don't understand the market, don't understand what they're hiring for. They just sort of they've got these jobs on. They're working them. And I was one of those, but not bad recruiter, but I was a naive recruiter, not an intelligent person who was like trying to read the resume, not an understanding of a discipline or whatever. And I'd actually wouldn't research the industries or the technologies that we're working with. But you have to do that today, because you'll be caught out. Do you know what I mean?
Easily. And not only that, but it looks bad on you when they go to the interview and they turn around and say, okay, so tell me about your Java developing, and they go, well, it's here on your CV. Oh,
I've
yeah,
made some coffee
a lick.
before. That's what I meant.
yeah, right. And it makes you look bad.
For anyone who didn't get that joke, do you get that joke, by the way?
Yeah,
Java's coffee, isn't it?
coffee,
Java.
yeah, a blend of coffee.
Just checking there, Ray. I wasn't just checking, because that was one of the best jokes I've ever made in my life. So I mean, and it was one of the most intelligent ones that I've ever made in my life. I'm going to give myself a coffee swig for
Give
that.
yourself a coffee. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And the one thing that you can't automate is emotional intelligence.
No, you.
You know, and that's the other thing you can't ever automate will be emotional intelligence. And that's exactly what you're saying. Speaking to a candidate on the phone, going, "Oh, have you really done this? Yeah, I've really done that. I'll have you now." Do you know what I mean? You can't automate that. You can't automate that.
Absolutely,
and that's the difference.
And so you can automate all this stuff that like is admin.
Yeah.
Even down to job description writing, actually, in many ways, there are some great tools out there. You can do that. You can automate. I actually found the tool today, which is absolutely mental. Kevin, Kevin Childs, it is mental. I'm not willing to share it yet because I want to explore it a little further, but it is unreal artificial intelligence.
Really?
It's the first time I've thought, you know what, artificial intelligence is actually going to take over the world. It's the first before I'd be like, well, no, AI can't do this, AI can't do that. And but where this AI is at, it's like
mental.
I can't. It's like, it's just mad. And I'll share it on the next meeting, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, cool. Let's jump into the next. We're making good progress here.
Not like Skynet kind of next level, is it?
It's fucking unreal. Excuse my friends, those on LinkedIn who don't like swearing. TikTok, you guys are all right with that. I know you don't mind swearing. Facebook is only my mum watching, probably. No, Facebook on expert. Sorry if I'm swearing, if you don't excuse my French, but we are expressionate here, if that's a word. Is expressionate a word?
I think actually expressionate is a word.
Okay, boom. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, give us a little Google that for me if you can, Ray.
I'm just in that expression now. It would help if I could spell.
Expressionate. Now, one of the next pieces, we'll just say it's a word. It's fine. One of the next pieces, which is going to make a great recruiter in 2023. I think actually, in general, anyone, this world we're living in, these live broadcasts, this is amazing. Be able to reach so many people around the world at once, across different platforms. Now, this is all down to branding, right? This is like a brand exercise for me, So this is one of the other pieces where branding is going to stand out for recruiters, and whether you're internal or agency side, whether you're a recruitment function. People have been talking about employer branding for years. I mean, I did podcasts 3-4 years ago on this stuff, and everyone's still saying it's really important trend. I mean, so it's just a constant. Like, it's a constant. I don't think it's a trend, but I do believe that we can get a lot better at it. And a couple of weeks ago, the first time I was able to go live on LinkedIn was a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, this is a huge opportunity for broadcasts.
Yeah. On
that note, podcasts are really, really overly done right now. So this can be converted into a podcast. It's going to go on Spotify and all that stuff, repurpose there. Broadcast, which is live, basically, this live setting, this live podcast. I believe there's massive opportunity across platforms. And the reason being is because people don't mind dipping in and out of a broadcast, but you're also notified you're notified by the algorithm that this person's gone live, so that person's on your mind. It's all about attention. Branding is attention. So I believe branding is a huge piece, and I know that Ray, we're working together on some stuff for you,
of course,
branding and whatnot. So what are your thoughts on branding, and how's it going to separate a recruiter in 23?
I think, and this is what and do you know what this leads me on to exactly what we're saying here on. Personal branding is so massive that I don't even think that, employer branding, great. Personal branding within that, you need to get your personal brand sorted before you even start looking at employer brand. Okay? Because your personal brand, whether you like it or not, is out there every day. Every time you put something on Twitter, you put something on Facebook, you post on Facebook, you do a Facebook Live. It's all personal branding.
Yeah.
You are portraying who you are. Think about how that comes across first. And as a recruiter, as a personal brand, I know some really good recruiters in Birmingham that have that, even the mention of their name is a brand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I know great recruiters that have moved from Robert Half, Rob Walters, to Hayes, to then set up on their own. And the reason they've done that is because their personal brand, it doesn't matter, their employer brand, it's superseded the employer brand, their personal brand.
The other thing is, how much do you think it's going to play into, like, when clients are choosing a recruiter to work with?
Massive.
Like, the market's obviously quite saturated in the recruitment world, and I think people choose to work with personal brand. Like, as you said, is that personal thing for a recruitment agency, and that's why people move and they tend to take their clients to different agencies or whatever, because clients like to work with them. So
we've all done it. We've all done it, Antonio, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Let's be honest, we've all done it.
So what's your thoughts? How's it going to impact a decision making for a client who's maybe not worked with you but seen you all over LinkedIn, seen you all over Facebook, TikTok, this, that, and the other?
But that's exactly it. It depends on what their perception is of me from what that branding is. So going into 2023, I would be saying, if you wanted to hit it for a recruiter, clients do look on your Facebook. Clients do look at your Facebook. They do look at TikTok. They do look at Instagram. They're all one in the same now. They do it when if you're not looking at a candidate's Facebook profile or a TikTok account to see what kind of stuff they're putting on there before you're sending them to an employer in the first place, or a client in the first place. Do that, because I'm sure tell you now, clients are looking at yours and they're looking at what your personal brand is first.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I saw on what was it? Well, I saw in a newspaper, actually. It was something in my feed. I didn't go into it too much, so if anyone can correct me, that'd be great. Correct me. But it was a teacher got fired because before she was a teacher, she was doing OnlyFans. And so, but do you think that's a bad thing? Like, that's a career choice, that she was doing OnlyFans?
Yeah, Antonio, I think there's some people, and this is what I was going back to, I think there's some people that will not like that at all. Do you know what I mean? There will be some people that are offended by that.
Right? Let me ask you this question.
They'll go, that's brilliant.
let me ask you this. You've got kids, yeah? So let's say it comes out that, your daughter's teacher was doing OnlyFans, was going around the school.
Yeah.
What would you expect the school to fire her and let her go? What would you say to that? Now, this is such a difficult question.
No, because I wouldn't expect them to. What I would expect to do is find her phone number at some point, because I'm single and that's, I'm cool with that. But I wouldn't, because that's like saying you're a massive Burger King fan, but there was somebody that used to work at McDonald's and you don't like McDonald's as a brand, so you're not going to hire them.
It's slightly different. I don't know if you understand the premise of what OnlyFans is. You know what?
Absolutely, yeah. But okay, I'm just trying to dumb it down a little bit. It's the oldest profession ever. And if they dipped into that, then,
Well, actually, some would say recruitment is the oldest profession.
Some would say that. But I don't believe that. I definitely believe that getting naked is probably the oldest profession going, to be fair.
Yeah, but how did you see the naked people? There had to be someone to facilitate that between...
but even like when you're in a cave and there's like meat on a fire, right? And you're wearing leopard skins and stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
Getting naked, do you know what I mean? For a bit of lamb or how was head of barbecuing, that shit happened. Happened. We know that happened, right? So that's the oldest profession. It's the oldest profession.
You got me
there. We go. Thank you.
You got me there. Stifled. Thank you.
But no, I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't, and I think, and I look. You know me, I'm easy peasy. Just everybody, if that's what you want to do, kick it, get along with it. That's fine. Don't be upset if I'm looking for your number.
So, And also, so anyone, if we're talking about this, let's say you are going for a job and you've had an OnlyFans profile, just erase it. Just erase it. You know what I mean? And then, and then no one can find out that. So
Antonio, this is my top tip for 2023. Things are going to get tight. Go go next.
Things are going to get tight. Sign up to OnlyFans.
No, that wasn't what I was going with that one. That was quite, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe, you know, you got a talent. But no, what I was going to say is take this next 2 weeks, 3 weeks before Christmas to look at what your output is on social media. And if there is something there that you think that maybe be taken controversially, take it down. You know, don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to get questioned over something.
Well, what's the point in having the risk? You know,
exactly. That's it.
If you need a new position or you're looking for a new position, looking to upgrade your career, what is the point in having that risk? Just remove it from, just really be vigilant, or make account private. Then you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anything public is public. Remember that digital footprint. All right, cool. So we only got a couple more to go. How are you for time?
Man, I'm good for time.
Good. This is a great podcast. I'm enjoying this broadcast.
I'm enjoying this as well. This is nice.
Really, really fun. All right. So data-centric recruiting. Like, I love a bit of data, and I do because you've worked with me on this.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
I love data. I think that data gives you a competitive edge to your competitors. I think it gives you separates you. If you're able to really go into a client and not only just like be subservient, and just say, okay, yeah, sure, we'll do this. Oh, you're paying 60 grand for a senior developer. Okay, cool, that's fine. Yeah. You're going to just set yourself up really in a bad way. But if you go to a client, they're saying, hey, we want this senior developer who has every code language under the sun, has worked on NASA programs and can go to Slough on site, every day of the week, but we want to pay him 60 grand, then typically you probably go, if you're new in recruitment, you'll probably go, okay, oh yeah, sure, got a job on, great. But actually, it's about going back to the client with the data and saying, hey, actually, first of all, this is the amount of candidates that are in this talent pool that you're looking for. We've got to assume that 1% of those types of candidates are available immediately. So we have to find them. Then we've got to go and do headhunting. So this is how long it's going to take. The salary banding is here. And then, there's an amazing tool, Ray, which you can get these salary bandings from. There's an amazing tool where you can find the talent pools. It's called Google.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's all there for you whenever you need it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This camera keeps going on and off. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Goes off every 20 minutes, then comes back on. So data is really, I think, will separate recruiters in 2023, especially in the difficult markets we're going into. What do you think? Tell me what your thoughts are on data.
I totally agree with you, Antonio. Data, if you're not driven by data in every aspect of what you do in recruitment, then you will lose. And I mean it in this way as well. Even if you are if you're a blue collar recruiter, right, and you're looking at people in warehouses, it's the figures, the data, the knowing what your competitors are paying. So, for example, if you're trying to recruit for Amazon and DHL are down the road and DHL are paying 20 pence more, you've got to understand not only, well, that's what my client, that I need to take that information to my clients because that's imperative to helping me drive that market. But what does that mean to you on the bottom line? What does that mean to your growth of your business? What can you put on top of that when in there? So you're not, and without that information, you could be banging your head against the brick wall. Data is so important, not only from an Excel spreadsheet wise, but salary surveys. I totally agree with you. If you're not driving your sales by your numbers and by the data that's behind it, and having these conversations about salaries, having these conversations about there's 100 people in the market, and we know that maybe one of them may be immediately available. So we've got to go through 100 people to try and find that one person. you know, and then we go, if you're not driven that way, you are literally banging your head against a brick wall. And you will
I like that, Ray. That's a really great point. So it's not just about like selling to the client and saying, or getting, not selling really, because you're just giving them the data. It's about not just about educating the client, but it's also about actually protecting yourself and you going, actually, do I want to work on this job? You know, this purple unicorn, if I'm going to spend, you know, hours and hours of my days, my weeks finding this person, do I really want to work on this? Because it's going to be challenging, and then the most people won't hire. And so then I'm going to be wasting time. You know, typically as well, for those out there who don't know it, particularly you guys on TikTok, as a recruitment agent, there typically you'll work for free, and then you work for the client for free, and then once they hire someone, what will happen is you'll get a fee for that. So, but they have to hire someone, they have to go through all the candidates, the interviews, the process there. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's like protecting yourself, and we all know what it's like to work on roles that are, you know, not exciting at all, you know, and roles that are like dead end, but you want to work on them because they're roles. It's you know, but and you want to, and most recruiters, they want to please as well. They want to support client.
Oh, we're massive people pleasers, aren't we? As recruiters, we're massive people pleasers. That's why we're here. I think you have to be a people pleaser to be in our industry. But if you want to throw 15 hours away of your week working on your NASA, do you know what I mean? Your NASA engineer that wants to go to Slough, you are wasting. You're wasting time. You could be in that 15 hours. You could go and do some more BD, pick another job up where actually it's working in the company over the road where they don't require it to be at NASA, and they're giving it flexible working, and they're giving £5,000 extra on the salary. You won't know.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the data you need to look at. How long is this going to take me to fill this job? 20 hours. Okay, I'm going to allocate 5 hours. 5 hours today, 5 hours tomorrow, 5 hours on Friday for this job. And if it gets to 20 hours, you turn around and say, I've done 20 hours on this role.
Yeah.
It's not working.
So just quickly, guys, thanks everyone for tuning in. We've still got a few more trends to go. If you're enjoying this, please like the episode on whatever platform you're watching. On TikTok, smash those likes. On LinkedIn, and I see there's a good number of people on LinkedIn. Give us some likes, please. Comment, help us understand what your thoughts are. Really keen to hear from everyone. Facebook, the same. Let us know what your thoughts are. And any of these platforms, excited to hear from you all. We've got a couple more to go. Thanks for tuning in this far. We're on the home straight now. I'm with Ray Harris. We're talking about the 2023 trends for recruiters and how they could be the best in the market. Cool. Let's get into the next one. This is actually exciting, this one actually, Ray. We have another trend. Gen Zers are entering the workforce.
Gen Zers.
What do we do about the Gen Z? This is an interesting one, isn't it? Gen Zers. Any Gen Zs on here? Let us know what's going on with your expectations in the workforce. Wow. So basically, Gen Zs are set to enter the workforce for junior level roles. The major drift that they will bring into recruitment businesses is speed. They'll expect everything to be fast.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, here and there.
They're going to be massively disappointed.
Yeah, well. So there's an opportunity for the more nimble, like scale-ups, organizations, but your big corporates creating, 3-month hiring processes, 6 weeks time to hire, 35 days average time to fill. Which are standard averages, but they're longer.
Yeah,
they're longer. They're longer than that. That's not going to cut it. And so if we're trying to hire talent, but then again, the point is I feel sorry for the Gen Zers entering the workforce right now because of the market conditions. There's more talent. There's going to be more talent in the space. But so I suppose this question for you, Ray, is two-pronged. If I'm a Gen Z coming into the workforce right now, junior level role, what can I do to make myself stand out? I've got a couple of things I will share before you jump into yours. And then the other point is how do we as employers get the best Gen Zs who are like vibrant, understand the new trends in when it comes to engaging, people online, engaging, new business, marketing, new development technologies. People who are a bit more, I suppose, mystical. Well, I think one thing that Gen Z is going to bring to the table, which will be a welcomed breath of fresh air, so to speak, will be the use of new technologies when it comes down to marketing. And I can only speak from a social media marketing and that type of thing, and because a lot of Gen Zs will be so used to using, or are so used to using, platforms like TikTok. Now, a lot of people on LinkedIn here are not so used to using platforms like TikTok. I've only been using it for the past 4 months and done really well because I've started understanding the platform. I spent ages just scrolling what works, what doesn't. But it's such a platform that can be maximized for everyone right now. So I think that's going to be a welcome thing with regards to Gen Zs. I think also, well, to be honest, I think only that. To be honest, that's all I can speak from. What are your thoughts?
I think they're going to push, and going back to the conversation previously about automation. I think that they will enhance the automation that's happening within the business, and very much so, Antonio, because they've grown up with social media platforms. It was part of their everyday life. Probably the first generation that actually, have had iPads since they can probably remember.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I think they're going to be able to move around or use that a lot more efficiently than what we did. Do you know what I mean? And I'll be honest, like I sometimes struggle with TikTok a little bit still, but they will bring a lot of automation with them. I think what we can teach them and how we envelop them into that environment is to mentor them. And I think to stand closely and mentor them, but use this as an opportunity to learn off them as well, And I think it does need to be a lot more of a give and take thing than it ever has been with Gen Zs, because I think we've gone to the days now of just being told what to do at work, it's very much more a 360 a feedback culture.
Yeah, I agree. I think also the way in which people, like I suppose Gen Zs, will expect the workplace to be as well. And I also feel sorry as well, because then are Gen Zs now, when we went into work, when we were 18, 19, 20, we were in an office or in a workplace because that's where we had to be. We'd have the culture, the get-togethers all the time. There'd be the drinks or the parties and all that sort of stuff. We'd have any reason to go out, and that was all part of it. That was all part of your nurturing into the workforce. And then it comes to now today when most are remote, or people at home and stuff like that, and they're not getting that. So I feel a bit like it's a bit of a shit way to come into the workforce at this stage, because it'd be nice for them to have. Well, I mean, maybe they want different things. Maybe there's data to prove that the Gen Zs of today aren't reprobates like us and drinking.
Maybe not. No.
Drinking every night, going out on a session after work and stuff like that. Maybe data shows that they're more into wellness, and I think that it does. I think actually there's the younger generations are more into wellness and all that sort of stuff, gym going and whatnot, maybe. But
so I've got a story about this, right? So I haven't probably even told you this yet, but I decided this year that I was going to go and play rugby again. So I've gone and played. So I've picked up a rugby ball again, put my places. I missed it. I did miss it, and I'm half decent rugby player. I was half a decent rugby player, as you know. And I put my boots back on. Antonio, they ain't like us. These kids literally were like, I remember when I first started playing rugby, right? And they were fat kids, right? They were called props, right? And there were number 8s that were just big and lanky, and do you know what I mean? And that would and you know that they'd eaten badly that week. Do you know what I mean? They looked like they didn't take care of themselves, you know, proper hairy ass men, right? These kids that I played against this year are just a different breed.
Why? What are they like?
Because they're all because they are, and I'm saying this in a positive way, by the way, but they look after themselves. Like we never used to care about having a beer belly. These kids are ripped. They're down the gym 4 days a week. They're eating healthily, right? Like when we were kids, right? We would just put like whatever one put in front of you, you'd eat it, right? Do you know what I mean? These kids, 16, 18 years old, they're chiseled. They're chiseled and they can run.
Seen them as well.
Like 11, they can run like 11 seconds in a pair of rugby boots because that's all that they wanted to ever do. I could never run 11 seconds, not even when I was 16.
So how did the game go?
Poorly. I broke my finger. I had a black eye, and it looked like I was just trying to catch moss.
Thank you so much, Vicky. That is so funny.
Because as soon as they were there and ready to tackle, they were gone. And it was so difficult. So they look after themselves. So I don't think that they're a pub culture. I don't think that, you know, and I think that's trending now because there's still pubs closing. I think.
Yeah, but you think that's why? Do you think it's because the pubs have all closed? Like, again, I was chatting to my brother the other day and we were talking about, you know, when we go, there's a place in Luton down the road where it was, and like Luton used to be a real buzzing place, like nightlife, loads of bars. So you'd go to this one bar for cocktails before, and on Tuesday night this was at 7 p.m. It was buy one get one free cocktails, like £2 or whatever, and then you'd drink as many of those as you can. Then you go to the Edge, which was it was £12 all you can drink at the time. Yeah, £12 all you can drink. Like all you could drink all night. Yeah. So from 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. or wherever it was, and it was just like that was our Tuesday nights. Every Tuesday night, religiously. Then on a Friday night, we'd go down to the park, or not the park. There's a place called the Park. Go out. You know, there's loads of places to go. That just doesn't happen today, does it? You know, particularly in like at towns, right? Or is it more pub culture? Because I know look at my younger brother. He's like 18, 19. And he doesn't go out. He goes to a friend's house.
Can I just ask what the frick are pricks, by the way? Pricks, pre-drinks, right? This is a thing now.
I thought you said pricks. I was like, who's commented that?
Prinks. So the kids now go for pricks.
Really? Amazing. So close. No, sorry, I was chatting to the people on here. Okay, so go on.
Yeah, prinks. Prinks, right? Prinks. And it's pre-drinks because the kids now don't go out like we did at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? We were down the boozer at 7 o'clock, but now they don't go out till 10, 11. You know, and then they have like pre-drinks. So I think that's just a culture thing. Now, is it because the pubs are closing down? I don't really think so, Antonio, because you know I lived in Australia for 8 years. You know, we go around somebody's house and have a barbecue instead of going to the bar, going to the pub. There's still a drinking culture, as we all know.
Yeah.
Over in Australia, the drinking culture's there. It's just moved from the pubs to moved into houses. You know.
Yeah, interesting.
So I don't think it's that.
So we're digressing.
Guinness anymore. They're not drinking Guinness anymore. They're drinking vodka and tonics. So even when they do drink, they're just not putting any weight on. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So. Anyway, going back to this, I think it's for them.
I haven't had a Guinness in so long. I'm going to get a Guinness. Let's go to a pub. Yeah, I might. You know what? I might go for a Guinness after this. It's a shame you're not near me. I might go for a Guinness. I'm doing US hours today, so
nice.
I might finish a bit early today. To be honest. Yeah. Right. Anyway, we're talking. Thanks to the round of applause, guys. So we're talking about what are we talking about? Sorry, we've really digressed. 2023 trends. See, Vicky, we're digressing here. We got the first conversation about booze, and all of a sudden it goes wrong. So,
but I think they've got to drive culture into the new businesses.
Gen Z's going into businesses. They're going to drive culture. They're going to be changing the way that we have to hire. I'm really excited about this. I think so it was Gen Zs. So what was it? Millennials.
Millennials, Gen X, Gen Ys, Gen Zs. Yeah, Gen Zs.
Hold on, let's have a look at the generations.
It's Gen X, isn't it? It was millennials, Gen X, Gen Ys. You sure?
So yeah, so it's millennials between 1981 to 96. And then 97 is the Gen Z, so that makes sense. So the biggest conversation for the past years is millennial thing, or the past years has been millennials. We're outdated now. We're the old folks, so that's fine. That's absolutely fine. We have to know our place in the rung of things, you know, in the food chain, in the hierarchy, I suppose.
Back in my
day. I know. To be honest, you know, it's getting like that. And it's a fucking terrible thing, because my conversations are always driven now, especially with my brother. When I see him, it's like, do you remember when we used to do this? The kids don't do this. we just did that. Yeah. We are what we said we'd never be. We are what we said. We'd never say, oh, you don't get it to parents. You know, when our parents used to say, back in my day. We are, for God's sake.
We're them. I was
having a good time until I realised that.
Mate, we are there. Back in my day, I tell you what, we used to go for shots after work. It was a thing.
I know, shots after work. Yeah, but you know what? There's one thing that will never ever be replaced in London, and this is a real serious moment. I'm going to turn down the music here 1 second. There's one thing that will never ever be replaced in London. And that is Hamilton Hall of Liverpool Street. That's always going to be busy. Yeah. Whee! I love this system. But what do you think about Gen Zs?
No, I think.
No, we'll move on from that. I think we're going to minute the point. That's fine. We've hit that one. So, yeah, we've got Vicky creasing over here on the TikTok live. We'll move on to that one. So, interesting. So the final trend is that in the future, recruiters will look more and more like HR business partners. What do you think about that one? As of now, recruiters are considered order takers. Who's saying this? Who's saying this?
HR business partners.
Yeah, HR business partners are saying this.
Just an order taker, mate. Just an order taker.
Yeah, what? Do you want fries with that?
We've got a 2-for-1 deal going on at the moment.
I'll tell you who's saying. It's a gentleman by the name of Tristan Kloch, Vice President of HR at Sarala. So he's saying, as of now, recruiters are considered order takers. I don't know if this sounds good. In the coming time, recruiters will increasingly be recognized as a strategic role. Recruiters are recognized as a strategic role.
I was about to say.
I don't know.
If you've not got any strategy around recruitment, then let's turn that round. You are failing as a business.
Exactly.
Somebody leaves. Oh, yes. Mark's just handed his notice in. Has he? Okay, brilliant. What are we doing to replace him? What?
I bet.
You are.
I bet that Tristan. Obviously, I bet he regretted that comment. So he's saying, as of now, recruiters are considered order takers, but no more. In the coming time, recruiters will increasingly be recognized as a strategic role. Recruiting leaders and recruiters will be expected to bring a perspective, push back, and lead the way forward. How smug is this guy? That means aligning with the client's business goals and advising clients on the best way to achieve them. Any recruiters on this LinkedIn, any recruiters on this on any of the channels, guys, are we not doing this already?
I was about to say, this is such an antiquated. When is this quoted by? Like 1998?
This was a survey in the start of the year.
What an absolute... Well, he's out of touch. He's out of touch. If recruitment is not a strategic part of your business...
He obviously doesn't like his recruiters. I think he doesn't get along with the recruitment team.
Yeah, anyone who says... It.
You don't think he understands it?
No, I don't.
He's senior vice president. He must. No, sorry, he's vice president. He must understand a few things. But anyway, I'd love to get Tristan Kloch on the show. Anyone who knows Tristan Kloch, Vice President of HR at Serrano. Would love to get him on the show to discuss that. That's amazing. So to be honest, that's a nil point.
Nil point. If you, I mean, I understand that we may be taking more on than just a pure recruitment role, and I mean salaries and benefits and things like that. Where if you are an internal recruiter, let's say for example, you are negotiating holidays, benefits packages, salaries, and if you can integrate that into the HR without the HR business partner getting involved, I think that he's probably got a point along those lines. But in regards to, are we not strategic at the moment and having a strategic role in a business? I think is he from California? Is he smoking something down there or something?
I don't know where he's from, but he's definitely from. He's definitely been on the devil's lettuce.
Definitely. I think, yeah, absolutely. Do you know what I mean? Kids are smoking a pancake somewhere. And
thank you very much. So, we've got someone, a person on TikTok, well, a few people on TikTok, 5,200 likes on TikTok at the moment. Vicky holding the fort down, doing an amazing job, giving us all the love over there. Thank you so much. Cool. So, that was a great show. I really, really enjoyed that. I think we really put the world to rights when it comes to 2023. My main thing on 2023 is that, as we started with this, it's going to be a tough year. It's going to be a real tough. But it's going to be there's a lot of opportunities. And I always find that the opportunity is in the problem. And that's always been my sort of slogan. Opportunity is in the problem. So whatever problems we go into, there's opportunities there for us to solve it. When it comes to recruiters, and I'm really aiming this at agency recruiters at the moment, because companies are still going to be hiring for strategic projects for growth in terms of where they need to be. Like you said at the start, Ray, maybe it's scaled back slightly, but no one's sitting still. The companies aren't going to go, well, you know what, we're in a recession. Let's do nothing. Let's let go of everything. Let's be in. Let's sustain what we have. Sustaining is actually a regress. It's no progress is not regress, and companies will be still looking to progress. So it's very exciting. So if you can look at those 2023 trends, if you want to listen to this live back, we're going to be putting it over on YouTube. We're putting it over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, all of them. I don't know all of them, but they get distributed everywhere. So whatever your favorite podcast platform you want to listen to this back, you can. You can even say, hey, Alexa, play the Antonio Talks podcast, and it will play that podcast for you. It'll play the latest one. How cool is that? So I can be on your Alexa in your home. That's fantastic. I think that's technology, isn't it? Anyway, Ray, I want you to give the final message before everyone does. Smash those like buttons, guys. Share this if you can, because I think people can watch it back. And other than that, we'll see you next week, next Thursday. I might get Ray back on next Thursday as well, because it's been a great conversation, and we'll talk about some more. It's been a good conversation.
Ray,
same time next week.
Same time next week.
We'll pick a different topic and we'll crack on with that, and we'll discuss.
I think that's a great idea, mate. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Antonio. I've enjoyed it.
It's been lovely. Love it. Hey, Vicky, we're just about to wrap up. Thanks for coming back. So, Ray, final thoughts from you, sir?
Final thoughts for 2023 is it's going to be okay. Firstly, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be as bad as everybody thinks. Just carry on, keep your head down, do what you need to do, be authentic, be yourselves, be honest, and everything will be good. That is literally it.
Boom. Love it. Thank you, Ray. You have a fantastic rest of your evening and enjoy your Guinness if you're going out for one. I'll give you a call straight after this, all right?
Cheers, buddy. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alex, on LinkedIn for your comments. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Boom. Well, what a pleasant show. So, like I said, if you want to listen to this, it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Spotify. It's going to be on... I think you could be able to play it back on LinkedIn if you want to. And then we're going to give some snippets for you guys over the next couple of days. So tune in soon. Ciao. Bye-bye.